is Chris Meade, who hails from Connecticut in the USA. Now, Chris has got a fantastic story to tell because he and his brother and a pal of theirs 2 years ago spent some night kind of talking about how they hated their jobs and could they come up with some idea about starting a company. And hey presto, they did and gave birth to Crossnet. Now, I won't take away anything from the story of that because you will hear Chris talk about it. But I think this is a really, really important interview because what Chris has demonstrated, at a young age, he was 25, he's now just past his 27th birthday, and they brought an idea, just an idea they had, and they actually really transformed that idea into a business, and they've made it a reality, and quite a substantial reality. Business is now turning over $2 million in less than 2 years, which is a fantastic achievement. But I think for anybody who, has an idea and kind of figures out, well, how do I actually make it into a reality? I think Chris's story is just fantastic because what they've done is they've just taken it step by step. They've worked extremely hard. They've put the effort in and they just had a never say die attitude towards it. So for anybody who really is in that early stage of their business, I think this is just a great lesson because they have achieved what so many people would have loved to achieve in terms of getting access to retailers like in the US, like Walmart and Target and other people like that. So huge lessons to be learned and I think what they really Chris demonstrates is a great simple approach. I'm not saying easy, but a simple approach, and really it's an attitude of we have got something special and we're going to bring it to the world, and I think they will have huge success. So I think a lot of lessons to be learned. I think anybody who really has got an idea about a business, this was well worth listening to. Also, I suggest that if anybody can go over to my website, www.johnmurphyinternational.com, and there you can instantly download my book that can be read over lunch with the 10 key traits of top business people, which I think this world of leadership you'll find very, very, very helpful. And also there's loads of goodies, loads of podcasts, loads of blogs, videos that I think will really help you on the journey. But in the meantime, sit back and enjoy this conversation with the really, really impressive Chris Meade. Chris, it's great to have you here on the Winning Teams podcast, and you've actually got quite the story to tell. And I believe, it's relatively recently, in the sense in 2017, you and your brother, Greg, and a pal of yours, Mike, got together to brainstorm what you might do, and you kind of spent quite a bit of time reminiscing. Might I suggest there might have been a beer or two involved in that conversation? So how did you come to this whole concept of Crossnet?
Yeah, so thanks for having me on. It was back in 2017, right around the holidays. My friend Mike was home for the holidays, and we sat down on the couch one night, and we're like, let's create a product. Let's create a company, and let's brainstorm. So we sat up all night in our small farm town home in Connecticut, in Woodstock, and we just brainstormed ideas. And as time went on, each idea got more and more ridiculous, but a four-way volleyball net was one of the ideas that we wrote down. And then we looked at each other.
Yeah, so just explain to those who don't know about Crossnet exactly what it is and how it works.
So we invented 2 years ago the world's first four-way volleyball net. So it is, as you'd imagine, two volleyball nets intersecting, and there's one person behind each square, and they play against one another in a free-for-all. Game to 11, win by 2.
Okay, so it really is a kind of a combination of volleyball and foursquare, isn't it?
Exactly.
Okay, so you've got this great idea. You've had your few beers, and it just seems like a brilliant idea, I'm sure, at about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Of course.
When you got up the following morning at about 8 o'clock and you were kind of thinking, guys, we've had this conversation, where do we go to from here? How did you actually just get started? Because plenty of people can have a great idea, but actually taking it forward to be something is a step that many don't take, and I'm just curious about how you do that.
Yeah, so we woke up that morning, obviously really excited about last night's conversation. And we went straight to Walmart. We texted our friends being like, hey, come to the house at 11 o'clock. We have something for you. So everybody showed up. We started stitching 2 volleyball nets together. We made up rules right on the spot. And I think we played that day until the sun came down. Just out all day long playing and having a blast. And we were like, we're just normal kids. If we enjoy this and we're out here for 7 hours, why wouldn't the rest of the world do it?
Okay, so then you got this idea that, okay, it's great, your mates have turned up, they validated what you said. How do you get to that, to actually starting a business? Yeah,
so we first was coming up with the name, the branding, the color schemes. Secondly was reaching out to manufacturers across the country to find somebody who could distribute it. Third was putting up enough capital out of our own bank account to kind of see the risk and the reward. So we found a manufacturing partner. Took several months. Then it took several more months to get samples and prototypes that we were happy with. But after about 8 to 10 months of really getting prototypes back and forth, we had a product we could sell.
Okay, so now you've got a product. As a matter of, in rough figures, how much money had you sunk into it at this stage?
At this point, we probably put anywhere from 10 to 15,000 of our own money.
Right. Okay, So now you've got a product. Did any of you have experience of kind of selling to retailers, online people, anything like that?
Yeah, so my brother's really good at social media marketing. He's done that for many years now for several companies. And then my strong point was I was an account executive at Uber in New York, the headquarters. So I had several years of selling experience. So we figured let's get a beautiful product, have fun on social media, and then pitch it to the buyers who were probably sitting at their desk wishing they were at the beach playing this volleyball game, and we can make something happen.
Okay. So how did you actually get into to start selling? Because, you're now in what? So you started there, the idea was in 2017. You then get into, what are you in now in 2018, or are you still in 2017?
So now we're in 2018. We're starting to sell. We launched our online website. Sales aren't amazing as any company would imagine when you start. But we start building traction every day. 50 more visitors, 100 more visitors. And essentially we start getting really good pieces of content from Olympians, from influencers, from people who could play volleyball much better than I could and make it actually look attractive. So then we have these videos and we can monetize them and then sell to those stores. So about 80% of our traffic right now and sales is online on our website, and then 20% retail.
All right, okay. And when you say that 80% of your sales, are they 80% of sales directly to you, or is it through some online retailers?
Yeah, so they're directly to our website, crossnetgame.com.
Right, okay.
And then we also have online retailers as well.
Okay, so, I know that you've got into over 2,500 schools. That's quite an achievement. How did you actually manage to get into 2,500 plus schools?
Yeah, so it is quite an achievement. So we, when we first started the company, we reached out to one of our good friends who was a gym teacher at our local high school. And he said, Chris, every semester I get this magazine, and I'm just inundated with tons of new products that I could purchase. Reach out to these companies. They're called Flag House Sports, Gopher Sports, S&S, Toledo. There's all these companies I never even knew existed, but they sell products to gym teachers. And gym teachers have a budget, and they want to spend their money on the most flashy, fun, usable item that they could have for years to come. So I pitched it to all of the buyers at those stores. They bought into it. They put Crossnet on the homepage or in the inside slot of all of the catalogs, and sales have just been cranking since we launched with them.
Okay. And am I right in saying that you're in over 25 kind of mainline, offline, and online retailers?
100%.
So how did you actually get into I mean, are they the Walmarts? Are they the big names? Who are they?
Yeah. So our first retailer was a store called Shields. They're a Midwest sporting goods store. We're currently nationwide with them in all of their stores. So units have been flying off the shelves online for them, but also in the stores. So that's one of our strongest retail partners. And then we are available online at walmart.com, target.com, Macy's.com will be coming soon, jet.com, wish.com. I can keep going on and on, but there's a lot of online retailers.
So, I mean, for many people who are looking to develop in the online space, getting on the likes of some of those people like Walmart and Target that you mentioned is kind of the dream. Yeah. But here you are kind of, three mid-20-year-olds with an idea, with a completely new game that you've devised yourselves. How did you manage to actually break in and get in with those organizations?
Yeah, we really love our product, and people really resonate with our product. When you set it up, there's 25 people that come onto the beach and just stare at the game, ask questions, and the buyers were enticed. The outdoor sporting goods game market is naturally something that doesn't change too much. There's a few really good outdoor games, but after that, nothing new really comes out. I'm 26, actually just turned 27, but there's only been two or three games that have really stuck out my entire childhood and my life. So when we bring something like this, it's kind of revolutionary, and there's nothing else like it on the market. So buyers are interested in having something that will actually sell and make a difference.
But I know that for many organizations who have tried to kind of break into the likes of Walmart, they've just ended up, kind of speaking to a blank wall. How did you manage to get the conversation going with the right person and get to meet the right person?
Yeah, so thankfully we work with a distributor in Nebraska called Spreetail. They are a massive e-commerce distributor, and they have partnerships at all of the major retail stores. So if they trust you enough to become have their product in their distribution chain, they will make those introductions for you and get you on the shelves and do all the fulfillment for you. So we have an exclusive agreement with them to do all of our .com sales on Target and Walmart.com, and they handle all of it. And it's a great process because we get the price we ask for, they do all the customer service and shipping, and we get on the biggest websites in the world. So it's just a win-win-win for everybody.
That's quite an achievement. And from your perspective, am I right in saying the latest figures I saw that you will do $2 million sales in 2019? Is that accurate?
As of this morning, we just hit $2 million.
$2 million this morning. So
$2 million. I woke up this morning and we had $2 million.
I mean, that is quite an achievement. You must be thrilled in terms of,
yes,
from where you started 2 years ago to be at a $2 million business with, with distribution, really, kind of not quite nailed, I'm sure, because there's always plenty to do, but by God, you've got a great start.
Yeah, we're stoked. I mean, $2 million in sales. I remember just last January, just doing projections for the year, we were thinking $400,000 would have been amazing. And that would have been amazing. But now it's grown so fast and so quickly, month over month, we're doing incredible numbers. So it's a really humbling feeling. Okay.
So, I mean, it started off with yourself and your brother Mike. And many people are involved in the business, on the day-to-day business now.
Yeah, correct. We have virtual assistants all across the country working, doing odd jobs.
So how many people have you got involved in total?
Right now, I'm actually working on an org chart, but we have about 7 to 9 different freelancers working at any time on the company, whether it's order fulfillment, processing labels, coding on the website, making landing pages, graphic designers, newsletters, animation, just kind of runs the gamut in creative and also kind of manual stuff.
Right, okay. So, I mean, from your experience in the last 2 years, so you've now got the 2 million, you've got this. Where do you see it going? I mean, what's the future plan?
Yeah, the more and more I look at the physical education classrooms, I really think there's an opportunity for our game to be a staple in gym classes across the world for years to come. I don't think we're a trend by any means. Volleyball hasn't gone anywhere. Foursquare has certainly not gone anywhere. And I remember back when I was learning volleyball in school, it was traditionally a boring thing. I sat on one side of the room, I hit the ball, and I waited for the ball to get back to me. And I might have touched the ball 5 times in a 45-minute gym class. So now kids are actually learning on the four-way net, getting the ball every 2 seconds, returning, serving, learning all the skills. And the gym teachers are happy because the kids enjoy it. So we have an indoor model coming out the first weeks of January. And, I think that's going to take us to the next level.
All right. And at this moment in time, are you purely in the U.S. or are you marketing elsewhere?
We have a distributor in Canada. Canada is a massive market for volleyball. We quickly learned that. So we have a great little distribution shop in Canada that distributes all our product almost the same day, shipping. And then we have a few distributors in Europe, like Poland and Italy, but they only have a few units, so it's nothing too crazy. Mostly North America at this moment.
Okay. And are you looking beyond North America over the next year or two?
Yeah, I definitely think we're having good conversations with even just exploring things like Amazon Australia and shipping the product directly to a fulfillment center in Amazon in Australia and just capitalize, because right now it's too expensive to ship from North America to these other countries. But if I could drop them off at a fulfillment center and we have customers who are literally searching and wanting to buy our game, we're losing money. So might as well just drop them off at the fulfillment centers and have somebody else do the work.
Right. Okay. So, Chris, when you look at where you've come from, in terms of you, as you say, sitting in that night of the three of you dreaming this up and creating this, what have you learned about the business? I mean, obviously this is your first time. You're 27, just gone 27 years of age. This is your first business. What have you learned about the business so far?
I've learned that even though you wake up to $2 million in sales, you're still not rich and you're still not exactly where you want to be. You're always reinvesting money. I'm always buying inventory. It may look all gravy online and having tons of sales, but behind the scenes, you're always preparing for not only 1 month ahead, but almost 6 months ahead, 12 months ahead. So you're always reinvesting in your future. But thankfully, we're at the point where we're paying ourselves and we're living pretty comfortably.
Right, okay. And, I mean, if you look at what you thought it might be and now you see the reality of it, is the reality different to what you thought it might be?
Yeah, we're absolutely, we're ecstatic. We're laughing, it's just a crazy feeling. We were just 3 normal kids who had a good idea, and we just worked so hard to make it happen every day for 2 years now. And now I can go to Target.com and type in my company, and it shows up, and that's just that will never get old.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, as you say, you're three guys in your mid-20s doing that. There are lots of, guys and girls who kind of get together. I mean, what do you think is the difference between what you have done and what an awful lot of other people who have a great idea, but it never sees the light of day? What is the differentiator for you in terms of what you've done? What do you think?
I think we all had the drive and commitment just to stay grounded. I've seen a lot of people start companies and give up after 6 months or even after a year if it doesn't work out the way they are, like it's supposed to go. But we just had the drive and the commitment. We sold maybe 15 nets our first few months. We could have easily walked away and said, okay, we're down 10 grand, let's walk away and give up. But we were resilient and we kept going, and eventually it just worked. And we stayed frugal time and time again. I didn't worry about getting paid. Even a year and a half into the business, I was like, it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. And now it's finally worth it. And we just kind of stuck it out.
Mm. And for the three of you, how did you figure out how to leverage each other and how you decide who does what? How did you split it up? I mean, how does that work?
If you look at the personalities in the room and kind of our own skill sets, we've kind of grown into 3 different clearly obvious avenues, where Mike handles the manufacturing and distribution and kind of dealing with our manufacturer and engineering the product and making new versions of it, where Greg is all the social media and the marketing side, and I'm on the sales and kind of the front end of the company. So it's very obvious that we have that transparency where I know Mike is good at blueprints and designing the product, And that's not my skill set, so I'm going to let him run on that because I have tons of other things that I need to be worried about. So just kind of having autonomy and trust.
And it is about that clarity of roles, isn't it? That everybody knows exactly what everybody else has got to do.
Exactly.
When you look, okay, you've got a number of, you said about kind of 7, 8, 9 kind of virtual people working virtually. Do you see that changing? Do you see yourself creating kind of a team that's going to be physically present, or do you see yourself just kind of continuing that outsourcing model?
Yeah, ideally it would be nice to have an office, of course. Everything's working pretty smoothly remote. My brother Greg's out in San Diego. Our other partner Mike's in Denver, Colorado, and I'm in Miami. So right now we're all remote, happy with our locations. So I think the stress of having an office where we have to physically report would certainly kind of add more stress onto the business. Things are working fine right now until we have that need to have a big corporation and an office. I don't think there's a need.
And I mean, because I think it's interesting, because if you look at that virtual model, and there's more and more businesses going down that route, that there is not, there's not a compelling, there's no huge benefit to, having everybody in the same room physically. Yeah. With technology, you can do it, and you can bring it forward. So in terms for you and your growth, as somebody who's in the kind of the sales and that part of the driving the business, what do you see as being the big challenges for you going forward?
The big challenge, we're very much looking forward to moving from .com and online sales to actual physical retail, because we know that's not dead. We know customers. I still look forward to my nightly Target walk with my girlfriend, just walking around the store aimlessly. What can we buy, or what should we not be buying but spending our money on? So we know that there's still, retail is certainly not dead. So there's thousands of stores in North America, let alone across the country, the world, that should be selling Crossnet that are not. So it's having the inventory, making the pitches, telling them why we need the shelf space, and our product is big, so we have a lot of challenges where the product takes up a lot of space. So if they're going to bring them in-house, it needs to move.
So what you're looking forward to, what do you see big happening for you in 2020?
So 2020, we have our indoor model finally coming out. We've been thinking about it for 2 years now, trying to just get it perfect, and I think it's pretty perfect. So first weeks of January, we'll be releasing that. There's gym teachers all across the world who are looking forward to having that tailgates now, because we could set it up on concrete. And then we have one massive, massive partnership that I can't discuss yet, but will be very obvious come February. And we'll be on the shelves of one of the world's largest sporting good game stores. So very, very pumped for that.
Listen, it's fantastic. And I have to say, Chris, I just think your story is brilliant. I really do. I really admire what the three of you have done, and I think for what I really love is the fact that you had that night where you all got together and had this idea, but you've actually taken it and you've made it a reality, and you've built a business that I think has got a lot more opportunity in the future. I think you're probably only scratching the surface, and I must say I take my hat off to you, and I wish you continued success with it. Before we wrap up, two questions I ask everybody. One is a book that you have read or are reading that has had a significant impact upon you.
Good question. Double Your Profits by Bob Pfeiffer. I think that's how you say his last name. Just finished it. Absolutely incredible. Just made me think about all the little avenues in my business that I might be bleeding money, whether it's processing fees, shipping fees, just doing things a little bit smartly, just even save 50 cents. But when we're moving units at the volume we are, even the smallest savings could be the difference between an employee getting a paycheck or getting a new employee, or even paying myself a little bit better. So nothing could be overlooked.
Great one. And daily rituals, do you have them, and what are they?
Yes. Every morning I like to get up around 8:30, go to the gym. I come home, make my little protein shake. I start work till about 12 o'clock. I'll then head over to the local Starbucks cafe, get my little coffee, and I'll work till about 4 o'clock or so. And then have some time for myself. Me and my girlfriend will go out, we'll do something, have dinner, go to a movie, and then I'll check some emails before bed. But pretty relaxed lifestyle. Have things automated right now, so as long as I get to the gym, do yoga or something fun like that, it keeps me happy.
It sounds as if you have great balance in what you're doing, Chris. I must say, I really think it is great. Chris, can I just say thank you so much for coming on? I think you have a great story. I think you've done a fantastic job of bringing Crossnet to where it is, and I've no doubt that we will be seeing it, in many, many stores, online and offline. And I look forward to hearing the good news about the retailer that you're doing business with. So thank you so much.
Thank you.